How can you come to a wet fit and don't expect for you to get wet? You don't know it's blows you go get. You watching SAT TV.
Bring out the reading, SAT Telecoms.
Welcome to SAT TV News. I'm Alicia George, your presenter. In our top stories, tensions high in Yampis. Residents say they will take no more. Caribbean takes top 2 spots in world's best islands. Second baby possibly cured of HIV. And in sports, Chris Gayle returns to West Indies cricket. Details of these will follow.
You're watching SAT Telecoms.
Welcome back. The United States government, in its 2014 International Narcotics Central Strategy Report, INCRS, has commended Dominica for its achievements in the fight against drugs and transnational organized crime. The INCSR is a report from the United States Department of State Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs. The report covers the year January 1st to December 31st, 2013. Under the section Country Reports, Eastern Caribbean Drug Control Accomplishments, Policies and Trends, the report highlights new legislation enacted by the government of Dominica to deal with the prosecution of narcotic cases and transnational organized crime. The report further stated the United States further encourages the 7 nations to pass legislation to modernize their criminal codes, making use of regional best practices in fighting transnational organized crime, and lauds Dominica and St. Lucia in their progress in this area. Prime Minister of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has pledged to lead the charge for a safer Dominica, condemning the drug trade. "I want all of us to stand in condemnation of the drug trade," he said. "The drug trade brings guns to our country, and guns are responsible for criminal activities. Therefore, it is important for us to put our voices together and have a very loud echo in our commitment as citizens, as a country, to stand in defiance and in condemnation of any illegal activity in the country," the Prime Minister continued. Government has taken proactive steps in the fight against crime, including the provision of equipment to the police service, construction of new and upgrading of existing police stations, training of new police officers, and enacting legislation to deter criminal activity. In other news, there was no clear winner for Road March King in 2014. 2 Calypsonians tied for the title this year. Let us go to Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association, Mr. Davidson Victor, with a report on this year's Calypso Road March winners.
Okay, my name is Davidson Victor. I'm the Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Calypso Association. I was very kind to name of the Yeah, in terms of the Road March for 2014, I'm the Mighty Tommy with his popular hit song Murderer, and the Mighty Walks Up with his popular hit song My Tomato Burst. They both has emerged as joint Road March King for 2014. Basically, they emerged from a field of 4 or 5 songs that played, because this is a year that we did not have a particular song dominating outright, because anything. You know, so we have to go on a information seeking basis where we find out from different people, you know, and get the opinions of people that were strategic position, you know, and they had an idea, a credible idea as to how much the songs and them to what extent. And those two names, Omi and the Mighty Workshop, came out more consistently than the others. The others came up very much, but the Mighty Omi and the Workshop came out and they come up consistent. And here's the reason why both of them have a strong joint road match in 2014.
In terms of a prize, what prize will they be given?
Yes, the road match case price is $300. So say that it is a joint case, it will be shared into two, that is $1,500 for each of the competitors.
Okay, sir. Any message you'd want to send to the general public?
Yes, well, first thing I would like to do is take the opportunity on behalf of the Jamaica Calypso Association to say a very big thank you to the public, to the general public, for supporting the Calypso finals, supporting the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, and even the eliminations, and even go as extending it to the 10th for supporting the Stardom Calypso 10th and the Mass Camp and even the Renegade 10th. We felt that this year was a very, very good season for us in terms of the variety of songs that we had, and we felt that this year, other than compared to other years, had a much wider variety of topics, and that made for a very interesting Calypso season. We really thank them and appreciate their support, and we ask that they continue to support Calypso in whatever endeavor that we undertake. So basically, that's what we have to tell the fans that we are very, very thankful for their support.
In more news, Prime Minister of Dominica, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, on Wednesday, March 5th, accompanied colleague heads of government from the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, and Asia to Venezuela, where a military ceremony was held in honor of late President Hugo Chavez Frías on the occasion of the first anniversary since his untimely death. The Prime Minister and former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez was said to have been close allies, both in the business world and their personal lives. After the passing of the Venezuelan president, Prime Minister Skerrit declared a national state of mourning in Dominica in his honor and ordered that all flags be flown at half-mast. Hugo Chavez died on March 5, 2013, at the age of 58. His death triggered a presidential election, which was constitutionally obliged to be called within 30 days. Vice President Nicolas Maduro served as interim president following Chavez's death until 14th April, when he was officially elected. In other stories, the tension could not be any higher in Yampis following a string of violent incidents in that community, with the most recent being on the morning of Friday, March 7, 2014. At about 7:30 a.m. that morning, it is alleged that a young man from Bafa State came to the community armed with a gun.
So when I reached on the scene, I saw my son, Corey Abraham, and then Romel Pascal. They held a Bafa State gangster with a gun. He came on a motorbike. He decided he came to visit his mom living in the area. And all of a sudden, we get a shackle because he's one of the gangsters from Bafa State. And we held him, we shackled him, we took the gun from him, and we called the police. On arrival here, they met us with the gun. I delivered the gun to them police.
So he came to see his mother, he came to look for a problem?
Well, he said it's his mom, he come and visit for the morning, but then he came with his gun, so automatically he came to make trouble.
Residents say that the ongoing feud is between the Blue gang from Bafa State, who alleged that some young men from Yampis stole a motor scooter belonging to them that they want returned. Mr. Abraham said his son bought a scooter he stored under a house in Yampis when not in use. But one night, a group of Bafa State gangsters came into the community and took the scooter, saying his son would have it back when they received the scooter that was stolen from them. Mr. Abraham noted on Sunday, March 2nd, 2014, a group of 12 gangsters from Bafa State came into Yampis on motorcycles in an attempt to provoke the young men of that community. They got into a heated argument, but fortunately it was diffused before it escalated any further.
And then, anyway, they did not have no, they shared some words. Anyway, we break them down and they left. They went. Then they came back Ash Wednesday. And then it had a shootout, but it's they that shoot one of their colleagues from Bafa State.
The police reported that 20-year-old Terish Charles of Bafa State was admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital following a gunshot wound he sustained to his neck at about 10 a.m. on Wednesday, March 5, 2014. Investigations into the circumstances of the shooting are still being conducted.
Man, you know, but my son Kuro have all these documents. My son Kuro don't want to be in trouble. The guy always breaking them. He just make a youth. The youth board in Guadeloupe, and even the gangsters and them said they will kill his son. And I'm his grandfather and I love him. And I had two boys, one disappeared on sea. And then I remain in one boy, his name is Kuro Abraham, and he's youth man board in Guadeloupe. And he came down to see his grandfather and grandmother.
Mr. Abraham says he would like to see this conflict resolved in a calm and peaceful way. Mariette Pascal of Yampis stated she was a victim of this ongoing feud.
I'm Mariette Pascal from Stockton. I was the first victim they attacked with guns on day before yesterday. That was on the 5th. I was the first victim. They pulled gun on me, and when they finished, they mashed up my son's car. I went to take the picture of the car.
Who exactly are you referring to?
Those Bafa State fellas, blue. But I know two of them in what that happened. Chris and Monica. Because why know them? Because they used to live around there. And there was the first set of people that tackled them. When they finish, they mash up the car. When they come out by their mother with the gun Bafa State man, all they do, they see me on the road, they surround me and they say, we are Kuro to kill Kuro. If I don't kill Kuro, I'll kill his baby. I will come back for you, I'll come back for you later.
Many residents of Yampis who were upset about the trend of incidents said the police need to put a stop to what is going on, as gangsters from Bafa State have carried out similar events in various communities.
Them bigger boys that supply them little boys with gun. The rest, they know them. Them police know them Bafa State fellas. Does that believe they're notorious? Have millions of dollars giving money to do things. But not so. People life at stake. Their life at stake too. They believe is one set life. Why do they believe people life at stake under them? Their own also at stake because they're going all about and doing what they want in different communities. So that's just to show them they're not safe.
In an exclusive interview with one of the sisters of the young man involved in this morning's incident, she stated, and I quote, "My brother came to Yampis to bring clothes for my mother to wash. Then some Yampis boys stopped him, handcuffed him, and began beating him." End quote. She added the boys from Yampis were the ones that pulled a gun on her mother and eldest sister, but she did not see her brother with any gun. The mother of the young man in question declined a request for an interview about the incident. One can only hope this conflict will end peacefully. In more news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has described village councils as an integral part of the development of Dominica. The Prime Minister's remarks came when he recently addressed the 15th inaugural meeting of the Cottage Village Council at the Cottage Community Center. Prime Minister Skerrit told the new council that their responsibilities were not simple and they have been charged with the development of their community. He reminded the councillors that leadership is sometimes a thankless job, but that should not deter them from fulfilling their duties. The Prime Minister commended the younger members of the council for coming forward to serve. He encouraged them to draw on the experience of the more seasoned councillors and make meaningful contribution towards the development of not only the communities they serve, but all of Dominica. Meanwhile, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, Minister responsible for local government, called on councillors to remain united and focused on the business of the council. She urged them not to be distracted, as this can hinder the effective functioning of the council. She also highlighted the work of the outgoing council, including the upgrading of the Lamoth playing field, rehabilitation of the Cottage Link Road and Diamond Lane, and the establishment of a computer laboratory. The new chairman of the council is Gregory Daniel. Other councillors include Vernon John Baptist, Bruno Lamoth, Wendy Romain, Dennis Bell Jr., Carol Barron, Aisha Wright, and Edward Dina. In other stories, after putting the carnival spirit to rest on Wednesday, 5th March, Ash Wednesday, Calypso's Baby Machine and Murderer are being commended for their lyrics in defense of God's image. The praise comes from the Dominica Social Justice and Peace Committee Incorporated and its director, Father Franklin Coffey. According to Father Coffey, Baby Machine, sung by Leona Peters and written by Pat Aaron, and Murderer, sung and written by Kerwin Casimir, better known as Mighty Omi, address the evil culture of death and call for the creation of a culture of life. For the past 21 years, the committee has been observing the Catholic Church World Respect Life Day, which falls on January 22nd. Some of the events for observing the day include school assemblies, TV promotions, radio talks, debates, publication, concerts, and marches. One of the highlights during the carnival season is the selection and recognition of a calypso which speaks to the defense of God's image. According to the committee, both calypsos did just that. However, one will be selected as the overall winner. The winner will receive a $1,000 prize and will be announced at a press conference hosted by the Dominica National Youth Council. In his 2014 World Respect Life Day message, His Lordship Bishop Gabriel Marzier explained the day seeks to highlight the absolute respect which is due to every human person and all human life. We cannot overstate our responsibility for preservation, protect, and promotion of human life at every stage of its existence. The value of this annual observance is further augmented when we see atrocities leveled against human life in any of its dimensions. In more news, the talent of the youth will be highlighted on Sunday, March 9th, 2014 at the Public Service Union building on Valley Road when the founders of Ooh La La Promotions, Chelsea Williams and Leanne Moranci, host their first event dubbed Stay Golden. Ms. Williams stated the event is organized in an effort to show young people how to be themselves to the fullest extent rather than try to imitate others.
We want to just show our generation, upcoming generation, that you don't have to be anybody else. If you just do you, then that's all you basically need, because who else can do what you do best but you? So instead of we just came up with Stay Golden, be you. We also came up with the creed.
Our creed, we actually have it on our shirts. It's be holy as I am, not like me, stay golden. And actually it's basically what she just said, where we're being you to the fullest, being beautiful, living life like it's golden. It's a way. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. Just being holy, staying true.
The two young ladies, who are Dominican natives residing in the United States, said the idea for this show came about saying that Dominica is blessed with many unrecognized talented individuals. They noticed a trend, they said, where our local talent is being recognized locally only after it has been recognized regionally and or internationally, when by right we should be first to appreciate our talented individuals. The Stay Golden show will do exactly that, highlight the gifts of our talented citizens.
We have Bert. Bert is from COB.
We have Colton T.
Shay Young, Lyric. We have Professor, which is from Suede. We have Carlin, Chris Star,
JT. It's quite a few of them. Sertiaka,
Adri, Shay,
Jason
from
Ray
COB.
Charles. We have quite a few acts.
21 acts.
And yeah, we're just really excited to see what they have concocted, because there was no limit set for their open mic performances.
Now, in terms of the open mic, will there be poetry, singing? Give us an idea of the format.
Well, you have to be there to see. But basically, we didn't want to set parameters. So it's basically, like Leanne said, it's all the fine arts in one. So some are going to do, if it's rap, sing, spoken word, paint, like just everybody displaying
coming together and displaying their talents. We might get on there and do something as well. We haven't made our mind up yet.
During the show, each person is allotted 5 minutes to express themselves in whatever forms he or she chooses. Miss Williams, who is very good at poetry, might grace the audience with some of her work.
Growing up, I was into a lot of dance, like I was in the NBD flag wavers, and I played a lot of sports for grammar school. And I was never the outspoken one, but behind doors I would write. And meeting Leanne, she's very outspoken, basically. And she kind of helped me to reveal who I am. And that's why I can appreciate this event and the term Stay Golden, because I'm now starting to see who I am, and I'm accepting it.
The young ladies are inviting all Dominicans to make a special effort to attend, as it will be an event like no other. The show begins at 8 p.m. and tickets cost $15, and interested persons can call telephone numbers 617-1543 or 615-0889. Speaking of talent, reigning Miss Dominica 2014, Miss Francine Baron, has been added to the Miss World official website as a possible contender for the pageant. The international world seems to be keeping a close eye on Dominica after Miss Leslasa Amor Shillingford participated in the 2013 Miss World competition. Two of Miss Baron's photographs have been posted on the website, along with a congratulatory message. Congratulations, Francine. See you at Miss World 2014. Although there is no confirmation on Baron's participation in the pageant, she seems quite excited to even consider the undertaking. When asked whether she would consider the opportunity, she responded, "Certainly." However, according to the reigning queen, there are several terms and conditions surrounding Miss Dominica's participation in the pageant to which the relevant authorities would be better suited to address. If Miss Baron qualifies, she will be the third Dominican after Mona John Lewis of Granby, who participated in 1979, and Leslasa Amor Shillingford in 2013 to participate in the pageant. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
Can you afford to lose everything? In times of uncertainty, ensure you have the security of Quartz Payment Protection. When you shop with Quartz Ready Finance Gold or Ultimate Plan, if you lose your job after 6 months of making payments, our redundancy coverage ensures that the payment on your account continues for up to 12 months. Don't risk losing everything. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get the payment protection plan that protects you against redundancy, disability, death, and loss of item due to natural disaster, fire, flood, or theft. Quartz Ready Finance with payment protection. Quartz, bringing value home.
Why, mama, why, 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 mama, why. Sasipu,
Sat Telecom.
Thank you very much.
In our top regional stories, Belize's Ambergris Cay has retained the title of World's Best Island for the second year running in TripAdvisor's 2014 Travelers' Choice Awards. Placing second and clinching the two top spots for the Caribbean is scenic Providenciales in the Turks and Caicos Islands. TripAdvisor's Travelers' Choice Islands Awards are based on the most highly rated attractions, hotels and restaurants listed for each island on their website over a 12-month period. Exotic islands in Polynesia, Greece and Thailand, as well as Marco Island of Florida, USA, were other winners in the top 10 global list. In more regional news, Japan is providing US $2.9 million grant to Guyana that will allow the CARICOM country to make funds available to the private sector at low interest rates. A government statement said there is already an agreed list of items that can be purchased by members of the private sector who are desirous of accessing the financing. Officials say the funds garnered from the repayment of the loans to the private sector would be used on developmental projects in the country. 2014 marks 2 decades since the first Japan CARICOM consultation was held in 1993. The event is being commemorated as Japan CARICOM Friendship Year. And on the international scene, the first time it happened almost by accident. Now doctors say another child born with the virus appears to be free of HIV after receiving similar treatment. Doctors gave the baby high doses of antiretroviral drugs 4 hours after birth. The girl was delivered at Miller Children's Hospital in Long Beach, California last summer to a mother with AIDS. 11 days later, the virus was undetectable in her body and remained undetectable 9 months later. The California baby is still on antiretroviral treatment, so it's too soon to tell if the child is actually in remission. A clinical trial designed to test the effectiveness of this early treatment technique on infants born with HIV is set to begin in the next couple of months. The results could be a game changer in the fight against AIDS. Sports is next with Larry, so stay tuned.
Shop at Quartz today and get the widest range of the world's best brands at the best prices guaranteed. What's more, you get them all for nothing down, and you pay nothing further until Easter. That's right, shop now, pay nothing until Easter when you shop on credit. 24 months and over, so get what you need now. Don't delay. The best brands, the best prices with nothing down. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
Bring up the reading. Sat Telecoms.
Thank you for staying tuned. Batting star Chris Gayle has returned to the West Indies squad for the Freematch 2020 series against England starting Sunday. The left-hander has been ruled out with back problems since the first T20 of the Ireland series last month and also missed the recent Freematch One Day International series against England at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. A hamstring injury also forced him to miss the limited overs phase of the Tour of India last year and the subsequent New Zealand tour. Gayle will add firepower to a West Indies top order that has recently struggled for fluency and which has below par against Minnows, Ireland. T20 captain Darren Sammy assumes reins of the side for the series, which continues next Tuesday and Thursday at Kensington Oval. The 15-man Windies squad will use the series as preparation for the defense of their title at the 2020 World Cup in Bangladesh later this month. The full squad reads Darren Sammy captain, Samuel Badri, Dwayne Bravo, Johnson Charles, Sheldon Cottrell, Andre Fletcher, Chris Gayle, Sunil Narine, Dinesh Ramdin, Ravi Rampal, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Krishma Santuki, Lendell Simmons and Dwayne Smith. And in football, we go to Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, Mr. Gerald George.
6 matches are scheduled this weekend as action resumes in the National League of the Dominica Football Association after a short break for the carnival season. We begin with the Intermediate League on Friday, with Genesis taking on Boston at 6 p.m. While in a doubleheader on Saturday, Porters will come up against Will George Academy at 4 p.m. to be followed by ACS Tarish United versus RC Doctor 6 p.m. These matches will be played at the Baffert State playing field. And on Sunday, MV Saddle Bomber of Portsmouth will battle Collioure at the Benjamin Park at 3 p.m. Meanwhile, a doubleheader is on in the Double Equipment League on Sunday at the Baffert State playing field, with defending champions Mobile Runners taking on Mao Soccer Strikers at 3 p.m. to be followed by league leaders Wood City Strikers versus New Generation Sports Club at 5 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. George, for that report.
Thank you, Larry, for that report. Now for today's history. On this day in 1965, an estimated 600 voting rights activists began a 54-mile march from Selma, Alabama to the state capital of Montgomery in protest of the death of Jimmy Lee Jackson, who was fatally shot 3 weeks prior by a state trooper while trying to protect his mother at a civil rights demonstration. After the group reached the Edmund Peters Bridge, they were met by a hostile front of state troopers and deputies armed with tear gas and billy clubs. The event would come to be known as Bloody Sunday. Civil rights leaders, including Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., helped organize subsequent marches to the state capitol. The Selma marches gave way to the enactment of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which guaranteed every American the right to register to vote. Now for the thought of the day. A team is where a boy can prove his courage on his own. A gang is where a coward goes to hide. Mikey Mantle. That's the thought of the day, and this takes us to the end of our news package for the evening. When we return, a recap of the headlines.
Yeah, I know that things are tough, but we will make it out. Dominica, we all gonna make it one day. The pressures of the system make us lose around. Oh yeah, we all gonna make it one day. Yeah, listen now, there's something that I wanna say to you. You get me so angry. Yeah man, this is Emma Moses, you know, and you're watching SAT News, the People's Choice, yeah? Make it bless, make it bless, make it bless.
And now for a recap of the headlines. Tensions high in Yampis. Residents say they will take no more. Caribbean takes top 2 spots in world's best island. Second baby possibly cured of HIV. And in sports, Chris Gayle returns to West Indies cricket. You have been watching SAT TV's news. We thank you for joining us, and we invite you to join us again tomorrow for another news package. On behalf of SAT TV's news production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a pleasant evening. Feel free to send your queries and comments to news@sat.dm. You can also join us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SatTelecoms or follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/SatTelecoms. Remember, SAT Telecoms is the people's choice, and SatNet a better choice.